That's my boy!
Good, good.
I like the music.
Do the music, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was going to sing it.
No.
Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Hello. Is that all right? Does that sound okay? Are there any mics in the audience? Anyone named Mike, by any chance? Can you stand for me? All right, mic check successful. Cool. Hi, my name is Gabriel Silifant, and I will be doing comedy for you all today. Gotta sit down for a moment. Now laugh. Please laugh, please. Stand-up comedy, you know, stand-up comedy. All right, so, funny thing is, originally I wasn't actually planning on coming up here and doing comedy. Originally I decided I'm gonna come to Elevate for the first time. I love San Diego. I went there for the first time in January, and I thought to myself, hey, you know, this might be a fun place to go back to with my church family. Have a great time, learn about Jesus, the usual. And what I quickly learned is this is a big campus when I got here. And it's very confusing when to follow. But that wouldn't matter, right? Until I had realized the day before I come here, oh yeah, I can do improv comedy. All right. Nothing better than going on stage and getting the attention of a lot of people. And I mean, there's a lot. And, you know, it's like, there's nothing better than having a bunch of people, you know, talk about you. It's great. So I thought to myself, hey, let's do it. Let's get up here. Let's try to put words together properly and hopefully in a comedic way and do it. But the problem is, going into it, I'm doing improv. I'm an improv guy. I don't normally write something down and start saying it, but at the same time, I like to have a general idea as to what I'm going to talk about. And going in Elevate, I had nothing. I hadn't a single idea as to what to say to a group of people who for some reason want to see some basic-looking brunette kid talk about things. So I just thought to myself, all right, we'll see what happens throughout this trip and see if something comes up. And that's where we get to today's story of how I almost didn't actually get into Elevate's Got Talent because I could not find where to sign up for an hour. So, it all started a long 36 hours ago. I was walking across the campus to the gym at around 2:45 yesterday, and I've been questioning myself whether I really wanted to sign up for this whole event because it is scary to be on a stage. I have stage fright. This is terrifying. And so I had always questioned myself whether I really wanted to come up here and do this, but I finally decided, all right. So I went over and I turned around and I decided to walk back over to the Brown Chapel because that's where the signups were. And lo and behold, it was $250. And I went in and I'm like, hey, is this the signups? This is where I go to write my name and sign the decree of torture. And he said, yeah. And then I remembered, doesn't it cost $25? And he says, yes. And I say, I will be back in approximately 10 minutes. I have to run all the way back to my dorm and grab my wallet that sits in front of my dirty laundry inside of my suitcase. So I begin to jog back down because I love running. And I'm jogging and I'm jogging and I'm jogging and I get to the area where all the dorms are. And I quickly came to the conclusion that I have no idea where my dorm is. I don't have the slightest clue. And so I began taking a little stroll around, trying to recuperate my steps from previous moments, and quickly realized that I was going in circles. Most of you may compare that to the Post Malone song, but this is entirely unrelated. This is like the geometrical circle that you learned about in some random white old lady's class. You learned so much about right triangles that you did not need to know. So I ended up turning round and around, and for a solid 20 minutes I went into a circle, and at this point I'm panting, because I ran. I was just jogging around, panicking, and I was alone. Now I know there was a whole buddy system thing, group of three, but they really wanted to see those basketball games. Everybody else, they're just like, I can't leave, I got basketball to see. I'm like, all right, I can do this myself. And so finally I get to my cabin, which was at the very end. It is so far out. And I get in there, I grab my wallet, I'm like, is there anything else I forgot? Do I got everything? I concluded that all I needed was my wallet because that's what I came for and there was nothing else to stress about, and began my stroll back. And by that I mean I ran again. So I'm panting, I get back over there, and one thing I forgot to mention was the guy said that, hey, after 3, we're going to be moving to Central Elevate to have the rest of the signups. And I said, all right, I don't know where that is, but we're going to figure it out. So, obviously, I didn't really go back to the Brown Chapel. Just kidding, I did, because I wanted to check if they were still in there. They weren't, so I was like, all right, I guess I'll just walk on over and check if they're at Central. So, originally, I think there was a bit of a confusion because I was told that it was underneath the building next to cafeteria where the signups were. That's this place. That's not the signups. That is not the signups. That is not the signups. So I went over here, looked around, there was no signups. So I realized this isn't the right place. So I thought, well, where next to go? I guess I'll go to the gym, because that's where everybody's watching the basketball games. Maybe I can see if my youth pastor knows where it is. And so I go in there, and I ask, and I go, and I find them. It takes me like 3 minutes to find them, and I'm like, there's that blonde pastor who I love. And so I walk down over to him, and I stroll down the stairs ever so carefully, and I ask, hey, are you by any chance know where the signups are? And he says, check the map. So they had said that there was a little area that is past the gym called the Commonwealth area, I believe, and that's where they had signups previously after they're not in the Brown Chapel anymore. And I said, all right, how do I get there? And they're like, well, you take a left, then you go past the gym, then you take another left, then you go right, then you go left, then you swirl around a bit, maybe take another path, go on the Yellow Brick Road all the way to Oz, and you'll find it. So I said, all right, seems simple enough. And so immediately I leave the gym, go to the left, turn right, immediately go. There's orange cones and there's 5 people saying, you can't go past here. Here's the funny little thing. That's where Central is. And there was a banner sitting right next to me that said the word Central. And I did not see it. I had 0 idea. So I said, well, I guess I better just turn around and try the other way. So I went all the way around the gym, and I realized, oh, there's a long path to get down to wherever Commonwealth is. So I kept walking, and then I turned, go down like 17 stairways. It's like that infinite staircase in Super Mario 64. And I finally get to the bottom, and, well, it was just a parking lot, but then there was another youth pastor who I know very well named Mr. Bruce Ramos, and he's like, hey Gabe, where are you trying to get to? And I'm like, I'm trying to get to the Commonwealth area to get the signups for Elevate's Got Talent, because, well, I like panicking. And so he was like, all right, well, I was getting tired of this trend. And so, luckily his wife was there, and she was like, you know what's at the Krill, right? And I'm like, where's the Krill? Because I still had no idea. I didn't know what any of these names meant. It just said on this little PDF on my phone that was 100 whole terabytes of storage that supposedly there was this place where we were performing, and I had no idea where it was. Nor did I know the signups. I didn't get this information that I was needing. And so they were like, all right, just go back up the stairs and try to explore the area again. Because they were like, it's probably not all the way down there. So I said, okay. So I went back up, and I went back to the Krill area, and I still couldn't find anything. So I was like, maybe. If I go back to the Brown Chapel, they will have miraculously teleported back there, and I will be able to say, hey. And so I walked over. At this point, I am panting like a dog. I am drenched in sweat. I am at the lowest point of my entire life. Oh. And I waltz in to be greeted by black. The lights are off, and all there is a group of people saying, I don't think we should be in here. I think we gotta get out. At that point, I was crushed. I wallowed away, tears streaming down my face as I realized my true fate had awakened. Home. Hope. What if I go back to the gym and maybe I ask them again and it'll work out? No, that won't work out. Wait a minute. Who's that? Who's that sitting over there? Who's that sitting over there in that little circle table? It's a group of 4 people with Elevate shirts on, and one of them's pregnant and named Chelsea. Oh my gosh! My savior! So, I slowly waltzed forward, and being surprisingly socially inept, I was like, all right, we're gonna talk to these people I've never spoken to. Ready to go. Are you Chelsea? Are you guys working here at Elevate? Yeah, what's up? What's your question? So I'm looking for where the Elevate's Got Talent signups is. I've been searching for the past 45 minutes. I have no idea, and I'm really trying to. And she's like, yeah, we do. And I'm still talking. I'm like, hey, because I went over this way. She's like, yeah, we do. And then I went to the gym, went down the yellow brick road that you guys are so plainly on about. And I'm like, yeah, we do. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll let you speak, madam. Jeez. Those hormones. Oh, man. So I was already over there, and they were like, oh, you were 10 feet away. I say, 10 feet? And she says, yes. And I said, that's where I was 30 minutes ago. And she said, yes. And I said, well, at least I got content for tomorrow. At least I got something to work with at long last. So I waltz over, and oh my goodness, the security there is so crazy, because there's people in black shirts, and that's the color of death. So, once again, tiptoeing through, and I say, hello. At this point, it felt as if my neck had fallen off my head. My posture was so down. I was bent like this, and I just said, please, for the love of everything on this planet, tell me where the signups are. Are they in here, please? And then I saw a man named Justin, a beautiful man named Justin, and he said, come to me. I will be your savior. So I walked. And I said, hey man, where do I go? Just fill out this paper. I said, okay. I said, where am I? And I say, so what do you do for a living? And he says, you improv comedy too? I fell in love in an instant. I told him about my story. This traumatic, terrible experience I had just gone through, and how it saved me at the end when I was at my lowest point. I am forever grateful for you. Not romantically, of course, only platonically. So, signed up, and then I said, all right, bye, see ya. And, well, where am I? Thank you so much for listening.